So a couple days ago, I was feeling nostalgic about my first full-time job. I figure most people start working 40 hours a week after they leave college or a little after they leave high school. But I had mine when I was 14. See, I was part of an annual program run by the state of Virginia that sends a few dozen 13 and 14-year-olds to live in Richmond, Virginia for 7 or 9 weeks every winter to work as pages for the Virginia General Assembly. Now there are kind of two strange things about this. One, child labor laws, those exist. And two, why only in the winter? I am so glad you asked. Well, the Virginia General Assembly is the longest consecutively running legislative body in the United States, which is a very specific title that they are immensely proud of. And because it has been a legislative body since like the 17th century, their schedule is based on the idea that all of the legislatures are wealthy farm owners, and they could not possibly leave their farms for the entire year. So the entire legislative season in Virginia runs from January to March. Another strange fact, and this one I really have no idea what it's about, is that they alternate by year whether the session is 7 or 9 weeks long. I served as a page during a long session, so I lived in Richmond for 9 weeks. As for child labor laws, why yes, asking 13 and 14-year-olds to work 40-hour work weeks during the school year is incredibly illegal. But, oh wait, who writes the child labor laws? Why yes, it is the state legislature, isn't it? Virginia has a special provision in their child labor statute, specifically allowing the Senate and House of Delegates to have kids working for them. Yeah, it's weird. They paid us the equivalent of $3.14 an hour. They also put us up in the Omni Hotel, so what exactly do pages do? Well, pages were kind of a relic of the non-digital past. From what I understood, back in the day, the biggest task of pages was to assemble bill books. Each of the 100-some delegates had a book with every single bill that the legislature was currently working on. And some of these bills are over 100 pages. So they had this little army of 13 and 14-year-olds putting together in order all of these pages and assembling these books and carrying them around to people's offices. Of course, by the time I was a page in '06, most of this was digital and only the really creaky ancient delegates actually had their own bill books anymore. Otherwise, there was like one per floor. So we had a lot of downtime. In our downtime, we did what any 13 and 14-year-olds would do. We colored on the back of extra bills. We watched Disney movies because they wouldn't let us show anything above PG in the page room. We followed with great interest the romantic lives of the other 13 and 14-year-olds around us. Relationships began and ended with great excitement and great frequency. The couple that everyone aspired to be, the couple that you just knew that they were gonna stay together, they were meant to be, had been dating for about a month. That was the record. But it wasn't all downtime. We were split up into 2 teams, and every day half of us would go down to the floor of the General Assembly when the legislature was in session and they were discussing bills, and we would wait along the edges of the room. We had to have perfect posture. We would get things for the delegates, and like 80% of the time what they needed was lunch. A good page knows the soup of the day. A good page knows how to hold on to a delegate's cash and not lose it. I lost a $20 bill once. It was incredibly embarrassing. We had to be at the page room at 8:30 in the morning. It was about a 10-minute walk from our hotel to there, and we were not allowed to go anywhere alone, so you had to go with your roommate. It was the height of scandal if someone abandoned their roommate and just walked to work by themselves. That was like, you didn't do that. It was its own weird culture mixed with middle school culture, so it was the weirdest of worst of cultures. Living in a hotel in Richmond for over 2 months as a 14-year-old with my family 2 hours away was a really bizarre experience. And I haven't even gotten into really the hijinks that the pages caused. And the delegates too. The delegates are troublemakers. Next week on The Life of Leila. That was really dramatic. Sorry.